Good day again, and welcome to another episode of Modern Endpoint Management with Citrix and Mobile. In this session, demo and recording, we're going to look at onboarding Windows 10 endpoints with XenMobile Service and with Microsoft Windows AutoPilot. As you know, in the current changing market, more and more users will get Windows 10 endpoints in cases like they're always on the go, they have a specific status in an organization, etc., etc. And those endpoints are more powerful. They are adapted to the change of how applications are deployed by public stores, by business stores, by enterprise stores, to make all the applications and data available. So in that scenario, with roaming users that are maybe not available directly in the office, or with another scenario where you need to onboard a lot of Windows 10 endpoints, like Surface devices, and you want to have them shipped directly to the end user, you need a way to onboard them into your modern endpoint management system so you can provide layered security, functionality, provide apps and data, and make sure that the user experience is great. There is a loss of time there is no loss of time of onboarding that user and get them up set up to do his work as soon as possible. In that case, there are some hardware vendors that will provide Windows 10 endpoints that are already prepped for Windows AutoPilot. They will upload that information on the hardware IDs and the serial number to the Windows Store for Business, and in that case it works similar like Apple DAP. The device is recognized, and if you have all the prerequisites set up, the user can onboard. So let's have a look at the requirements. Then from a Citrix perspective, of course, again, you need our great XenMobile Service product and a subscription to that. You need to have the cloud connector in place so that the Active Directory connection is done. And because you're making use of Windows AutoPilot and the Windows Store for Business, you need to use Azure Active Directory. And for Azure Active Directory to work, you need to set up Azure Active Directory as your IDP within XenMobile. Well, we discussed that in the previous video. So you need to have the terms and conditions set up, and you need to have the correct Active Directory groups and all the syncing in place. So we leave that just here. Have a look at the previous video if you want to go into detail how that will work. From a Microsoft requirements perspective, you need an Active Directory Premium P1 or P2 subscription, and you need access to the Windows Store for Business. That will be in one of those subscriptions. Again, like in the previous video, you need to configure Azure Active Directory. That will connect to your local Active Directory and sync the accounts and groups. The custom domain, you need to integrate XenMobile with it, so you need to configure the on-premise MDM application. Additionally, we will come to the stuff that we need for AutoPilot. So you need company branding in the Azure Active Directory. The Windows 10 endpoints need, of course, internet connectivity, because with the OOBE steps, it will check with the Microsoft Cloud Services if the device is registered and known, and will start the AutoPilot program. So for that also, you need to be aware that there are specific cloud services that need to be accessible from that network. So make sure all your firewalls, if you enroll onboard devices within your internal network, can reach those those addresses. Your endpoints need to have Windows 10 Professional, Enterprise, or Education, and it's supported from version 17.03 or later. If you have already Windows 10 endpoints that are not registered by your hardware vendor in the AutoPilot program, then you can download an AutoPilot script, PowerShell script, where you can retrieve the hardware ID and the serial number of that Windows 10 endpoint, and upload that to the portal. And in this demo, we're going to do that because I have a virtual machine, and I can provide that information directly to the portal. So, in a nutshell, that's it. Let's have a look how that will go. So, all the XenMobile Service configurations we already have configured and done. So, there's nothing changed regarding to that on the previous video and configuration on that. So, you will see that I still have my Azure Active Directory configured here. So let's go to Azure Active Directory and go to our Azure Active Directory information, and you will see a company branding tab. And this is the tab that you need to configure. So I already pre-configured that, so we will have a look at the settings. You need to create a sign-in page background image. It has some image size and restrictions on the file size and a file type. So make sure that you keep up to this. Otherwise, you get a red exclamation mark here, and you cannot save it. You need to create a banner logo. So I did a banner logo and put in some sign-in page tags, username hint. So if your users need to log in with your UPN and your UPN and your email address are not the same, so you can provide them a hint there. Another thing that I noticed, that if you use Edge in the Azure portal, there is no scrolling bar on this page, so you should be able to use your arrows there. So at your advanced settings, you can create a sign-in page background color. In that scenario, if the picture is not found, it will use that color. You have a square logo, same image size, and maximum file size and file type restrictions. So be aware of that. So when that's configured, just put in save it, and that's all. That's all on the Azure Active Directory side. So the next step, of course, will be the Microsoft Store. And just before we go to the Microsoft Store, I will show you the script that I run on the client machine. So if you have a pre-installed machine that's already on the desktop, you can go to PowerShell, create a directory, set a location for where the script needs to be saved. You need to set the execution policy to unrestricted, because if you run it without this, then the execution of this script is blocked. The command to install the script, and last but not least, you get the hardware ID in a CSV file, and that CSV file you need to upload into the Windows Store for Business. So that's basically it. If you have a lot of devices that you need to enroll, that's a lot of manual work, but that's for now the only way I can figure out how to do that. Make sure that if you want to use those devices, you need to go back into the OOBE mode. So in your configuration screen, you need to go to updates and security, recovery, get started, and then you need to reset your system to get back in the OBB screen, and then it will pick up the Windows AutoPilot. Just a quick reminder. But in the practice, you will have your hardware vendor uploading all the information to your Microsoft Store for Business. So when you log into your Microsoft Store for Business, just click the Manage button. You will see all the subscriptions and the licenses you have available. I have a AAD Premium P2 trial license. So the stuff is in there. You see here the Windows AutoPilot program. Just click on it. It's the same link as here. And you'll see I have my virtual machine already uploaded here. I created a profile. If you didn't create a profile before, he will ask for it. But let's look at my current profile. It's really easy. Just pick one, doesn't matter. So this one is defaultly on. It will skip Cortana, OneDrive, OEM registration process, etc., etc. Skipped privacy settings. These can be toggled on or off. I disabled, of course, the local admin account creation, so the user needs to log in with his Azure Active Directory account and skip the EULA. So that's it. Add devices, and that's the part where the CSV will be uploaded. So let's see if I can get that CSV. It will give an error because I already uploaded the CSV file. Come on. There it is. AutoPilot, I think it was this one. So when you uploaded it, it will select, it will ask you to select a group. If you don't have a group, you can create one here. This is a nice way of grouping devices. It will see it's processing your request, and if as soon as I push on refresh my list, it will get an error. Failed. Why does it fail? Well, let's have a look. And I think it's error number 7. Yep, because the device is already in there. At this link you can find more information on that. So that's basically on the store settings. Serial number, Azure Active Directory configured, XenMobile configured with IDP, hardware ID uploaded, company branding done. So let's see what the machine does. So I have a Windows 10 machine with the latest release of Windows 10 on it. This is how the process starts. Let me select keyboard or region. Let's just choose United States. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Scroll over it. Now it will ask you for your keyboard, and I will do United States International, and it will ask you if you want to do a second keyboard. No, I don't, and here the process starts. So it's going to configure your network. If it's a hardwired one, it will just work. If it's not a hardwired one, it will ask you to select a Wi-Fi network if that's available. So when that's done, it's going to check the Windows services, the Windows Cloud Service of the Microsoft Cloud Services for AutoPilot. And then you should see a different screen. So let me undock it for a second, get a better view. As you can see, it says welcome to your default directory with a nice Citrix logo on it, and you can see the tab here. So we go to ctxw10 aad at quicksoft.nl. That's my one. It says, hey, enter your password. Well, that should be this. And if it's correct, it will run to the configuration with no additional questions asked. It will automatically enroll into XenMobile. As you can see, this is the terms of use of XenMobile. So what we configured in the previous video, you can see back here, it goes directly into the enrollment process. So I accept that all the applications and policies and all the stuff that I configured in XenMobile for the Windows 10 machine will be pushed. And I think this is quite a nice, quick onboarding process of your Windows 10 endpoints managed through XenMobile. So this might take several minutes. So let me pause the video for a second, and I will start recording again on the login screen. So the initial setup is done, and then of course he starts to ask you for your organization policies, and one of the default settings, as mentioned before in the previous video, is that you need to set up a PIN. As you can see here, I get a nice corporate logo, and of course, because the user is already enrolled before, the initial question there was to enter my phone number, so Microsoft can send me a second factor token. So I will enter that number. I received the email or the SMS 947519. And it will, there is an option in Azure Active Directory to disable this, but let's leave it there. Create a PIN. Let's make it this one. Oh, must meet complex requirements. Here it goes. All set. You can sign in with your PIN now, and if you have a Windows 10 device that has Windows Hello, you can use facial recognition and all the other stuff. So let's see what happens in the control pane, in the settings pane. So if you go to accounts, the machine is not so fast as it is a virtual machine. You see that it's nicely configured, connected to the default directory in Azure ID. And if I click at info, you'll see that it's also managed by my XenMobile service in the cloud. And you can also see the policies that are pushed, the application policies, the credential providers, and the browser settings, and the DMA agent. So that's all cool and nice. If it's correct, the start page is changed because that's one of my policies. We dive into that a later time. And just to make sure that all the other stuff is also there, let's do a sign out. it asks for my PIN again. Cool stuff. It all works. Now, just a quick look back into the XenMobile console. You should see the device enroll there. Let me see. Here it is. Enrolled and working. So that was quickly a short video on modern endpoint management with Citrix and mobile and the Windows AutoPilot. These are the reference links. I will put them as usual in the notes or in the description of the video, so you can easily get to them. Another note, again, have a look at Matthew Brooks and my blog series on Citrix blogs on modern endpoint management with XenMobile. And again, thank you, and hopefully you tune in the next time. Bye bye.